Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Leon Weinstein and I'm a video blogger, usually in Russian language, about political, social stuff. I will show you today the documents and information that never been seen by the most people on earth, and will share with you uncovered in the Russian secret archives documents, confirmations, evidence and stories. The documents and facts will prove beyond any reasonable doubt that scores of liberals and progressives on the West, by West I mean Western Europe and the United States of America, cooperated willingly against their own homelands with the most dangerous enemy of our country. And the key word is willingly. Some did it for money, some for other personal gains, some because they hated capitalistic society, and all because they were useful idiots. But we will start with how those documents and evidence were obtained and smuggled outside of Russia. In 1991, after the demise of the Soviet Union, Boris Yeltsin, president at that time of the Russian Federation, prohibited Communist Party on the territory of Russia, and communists sued him in the Constitutional Court. Yeltsin invited Bukovsky to be an expert at the trial and prepare documents about crimes of the Communist Party, and Vladimir came back home. As Yeltsin's expert, Bukovsky has granted an access to the most secret archives of the KGB and the Communist Party. He spent almost a year working there and reading documents that he never dreamed would come to his hands, he will be holding in his hands. Some were stamped never to be seen by anyone except listed individuals, and there are several names of the top USSR officials who and only who were permitted to see the document. Photographing documents was absolutely prohibited, as was quoting, that what he read. But Russians at that time didn't know anything about scanners, and Bukovsky took his portable scanner, Japanese origin, everywhere. As a result, thousands of most secret documents were scanned and smuggled from Russia. Among them hundreds talking about relations between KGB and Western, as I already said, European, West European and the US leaders, political activists, journalists and yes, celebrities. Bukovsky was able to do what no one in the Communist Party or KGB anticipated, to shed light on those in the Western world who sold their souls to communists. In order not to be accused of tampering with documents, Bukovsky submitted them to the court as evidence, and they can now be viewed at the court filings and on the Bukovsky website. Based on the uncovered documents, uncovered materials, Bukovsky wrote a book called Judgment in Moscow. In Russian it's Moskovsky Process. In April, several months ago of this year, 2018, I interviewed Vladimir for a Chicago-based NBC radio and asked him a simple question. Are there any well-known and influential Americans that might not want your book to be published? Yes, said Bukovsky, quite a number of them. I was very proud, as a matter of fact, that our interview in its entirety was published in the English version of this book. I received the confirmation of Bukovsky's words about influential people who would have hated to see this book to be published in English. After the success of previous books, Bukovsky books, and after this one was actually published in 9 languages, the major American publishing house called Random House purchased the rights for the English version and immediately began press Vladimir to erase from the script names of liberal Americans. Bukovsky refused, and the contract was terminated. However, when Bukovsky started relations with another publisher, now in England, a team of well-dressed and well-mannered American lawyers appear from nowhere and threatened the publisher to stop the book from ever reaching the English-speaking audience. Who was sending those lawyers? Why he or she or they were so scared? This is exactly what I want to investigate together with you. So let's start. And let's start from going back in years to the times when KGB was still called KGB and the USSR was still a mighty empire with the second largest military power in the world. We will go to the 60s, when the world was enchanted and with Khrushchev cheering, his warming and his spring that some called it with the West. They cheered for the end of the Cold War, hoped that the world will not be annihilated at the superpower struggle. In actuality, the warming was a result of something entirely different, having nothing to do with the Soviets' intent to live in peace with the Western civilization. Soviets stated their main goal of the communist empire frequently: conquer the entire world. And not even once during this spring or any other springs they said that they abandoned this mighty goal. However, West have chosen not to believe them. Actually, the so-called West does that all the time. Right now we decided not to believe words of mullahs of Iran and elsewhere that their goal is to conquer the world and exterminate all infidels, you and me, especially in Israel and in the US. Not all Muslims say that. I'm telling you that, to those who will jump and accuse me of Islamophobia or something quite equally stupid. Not all Soviets were planning to conquer the world, and not all Muslims dreaming about world dominance. Now, after clarification of this important point, let's move ahead. The West usually says, they're just teasing us by saying that they want to kill us all. They're good guys, but jokers. What a wonderful joke. So why Kremlin did announce a detente? This is quite simple. The USSR was on the brink of collapsing. 50 years since Lenin and his bunch of revolutionary fanatics overthrow legitimate post-Tsar's government of Russia, and already more than 20 years passed since the end of the World War II. All countries, even losers in the war, had rebuilt their economies and improved standard of life of their citizens. But in the USSR and all countries it conquered as a result of the war, population lived below poverty line, not having even necessities that their Western neighbors had in abundance. The heads of the USSR, they called Politburo, were frantically looking for a solution. Everything they needed was here, within reach, but across the border. How to get it? USSR and the Warsaw Pact had armies like 3 times larger than combined all Western armies on Western European armies, and would conquer Europe easily. But Europe was shielded by the US, and no one in the USSR, even the hawks, dream that they can best the US army, and they were not stupid. So they devised a plan. The idea, per uncovered documents, came from the German comrades, but KGB, together with the International Department of the Central Committee of the Communist Party, worked details of this ingenious and actually very simple plan. To make West believe that there are 2 kinds of Soviet leaders, kind of bad cops, good cops, and the bad cops want nuclear holocaust, annihilation of the entire world and death to humankind, and the good cops wanted coexistence. And if West will help those doves by offering assistance in rebuilding Russian economy, providing technologies, loans, even direct assistance, the hawks will not be able to destroy the Earth. But if not, the program received inner nickname "Useful Idiots" that KGB picked up from Vladimir Lenin's remark about people who were lured into going, and doing something against their own interest because they believed that it's for the greater good. Let's stop here. In the next chapter of this saga, we will name names, show documents. You wouldn't believe who was helping Soviets. Who was helping Soviets against their own homelands. Until next time.